Hey friends, and welcome back. Today I'm going to be sharing with you the first video in my series for the Prepper Pantry. Now this Prepper Pantry video series is all about recipes that you can make based off of shelf-stable Prepper Pantry ingredients. So these are recipes you're going to want to write down or go over to my blog and print that recipe out. That way, if anything happens, if the world goes even crazier than it already is, and you don't have money to go grocery shopping, or there's no food at the grocery store, or you just, I don't know, get sick and are in your home for 2 weeks and you can't get out, or whatever it is, you can have these ingredients on hand to be able to put a nutritious meal on the table for your family. That is always my goal. You want to be able to feed your family a meal that will comfort them and keep their bellies full and give them nutrition that they need to grow and to live happy, healthy lives. But sometimes the world goes crazy and you can't do that very easily. I have to tell you, the amount of times I have seen people over the past few years who have said, I stocked up on lentils because that was all that was on the shelves and I was terrified for my family, but now I don't know how to cook lentils. Today I'm going to share with you a recipe that will show you how to incorporate lentils into your family's meal. So what are we making? Today we are making meatless chili. Now, I know some of y'all are fixing to turn off this video. I got you, I understand. My daddy is of the opinion that you don't even put beans in chili. My husband loves beans in chili, but he really likes ground beef in his chili as well. I just like chili. I'm not very picky. I'll eat it with beans, without beans, with meat, without meat. I don't care. But this recipe is delicious. It is hearty. It will keep your belly full. It will give your family protein and calories and nutrition to keep them going in a hard time. So, we're going to not focus on whether it has meat or not meat. We're not going to focus on whether it has beans or not beans. If you are from that chili opinion, that's fine. Keep your chili opinion. That's cool. But if it goes between eating chili that has no meat and is all beans or starving, I think you're going to choose the one that has the beans and no meat. I'm just saying. Plus it tastes really good, so just give it a try. So today, I'm going to show you how to make this meatless chili. I have made it before, and it was really, really good. The only thing you're missing with not having meat in your chili is the texture of the meat. Because we're going to use beef stock in it. And so you get the beef flavor. It's just a little texture that you're not getting. And that's okay. Today I'm going to go ahead and let you know that I am making this in my Instant Pot. We are off grid. So you can probably hear my generator in the background if you listen close enough. And that's how I operate my Instant Pot. And as long as I have my Instant Pot to make beans in, you know, I prefer to do it that way because it's much, much quicker. I don't have to suck my beans or anything. But you don't have to cook this in an Instant Pot. So if you don't have an Instant Pot, if you're cooking these on a stove top or a wood stove or outside over an open fire, what you want to do is take your beans and the night before or several hours before, put them in water and let them soak. I recommend at least 8 hours to soak. Now if you don't have 8 hours to soak, that's fine too. You can take and get that water hot, like to boiling, add your beans in it and let them soak for about an hour or two, and it does the same thing much, much quicker. I prefer just not to waste the fuel to make it boil and just let it soak overnight. But those are your two options. So you can either soak it for 8 hours, boil your water and soak it for an hour or two. You just want your beans to start absorbing that water and start breaking down. That is going to cut your cooking time drastically. If you are using an Instant Pot like I will be using today, you don't have to soak them at all and they will cook from start to finish in a little over an hour. Yeah, I know, that's pretty crazy for beans. But I have not always cooked beans in my Instant Pot. I've cooked them in a crock pot in the past, on the stovetop in the past, and in the future I'm going to be making a video on how to cook these beans over a fire type situation, just in case we are in a true crap hit the fan type situation and you have no resources, no gas, no propane, nothing to keep your appliances going, and you really do have to rely on wood and fire to cook. So we're going to be working together to figure that out in the future. I can't wait for that video. I've got so many plans for it. So make sure you're subscribed and you stay tuned for this Prepper Pantry series that's going to be coming out every Monday at 8 p.m. so you can see what I would do if I don't have gas or propane to be able to feed my family beans, because we love beans. Like I said, I'm going to use the Instant Pot today. If you don't have an Instant Pot and you want to do this, soak your beans and then cook them low and slow for as long as you can. You want them to be soft and plump, and it is delicious. Now, in a crock pot, I used to cook my beans for 8 hours. And that usually I would cook them on high for 8 hours or low for like 12 hours. If you don't have a crock pot, that's fine. Actually, cooking them over a fire or on the stove is quicker than a crock pot. So what you're using is really just going to depend on how long it takes to cook your beans. But expect that if you're not using an Instant Pot, you are going to want to devote at least 8 hours of cooking time for your beans. So start them in the morning, cook them all day long, and you will be good to go by dinner time. That is my favorite way to do beans. Let's see what goes in my meatless chili. If you do not have every single ingredient that is on my table in your Prepper Pantry, I'm going to go ahead and let you know. I highly, highly, highly recommend you pick these up today and put them in your Prepper Pantry. Now, these are not expensive ingredients. I think this right here is the most expensive ingredient on this table. And that is because I really, really like this broth base. I have it in both the beef and the chicken. You can do any kind of beef broth base. Those bouillon cubes that you can get for like $1 at the Dollar Tree, those work too. You don't have to do expensive stuff, guys. If you are eating out of your Prepper Pantry, not just like you want to eat out of your Prepper Pantry regular, just so that your food doesn't go bad. But if you're relying hardcore on your Prepper Pantry, it's not going to matter whether you spent $10 on an item to feed your family. It's going to matter that you fed your family. So just remember that. Anytime you go grocery shopping, devote $1 or $2 to $5 to start stocking up in your pantry. And these little great value seasonings, highly recommend. These are $1 a piece. I've got onion, ground cumin, paprika, chili powder, and I normally have it in garlic too, but this is one I picked up at Aldi, so this is what I have right now. Okay, so that would have been $5 in seasonings. You can do so many meals with those $5 in seasonings. It makes your meals taste delicious. And when you're cooking beans, your seasonings are going to change what type of meal you have with your beans, because beans will take on so much of that seasoning. So make sure you have some seasonings in your Prepper Pantry. That is so important. Next, we will also have crushed tomatoes. These were on clearance one day at Food Lion for like 40-something cents a can, so I bought just about all that they had. Black pepper. Again, eat it in your Prepper Pantry. Salt is super important to have in your Prepper Pantry. Pick up some things of salt when you go grocery shopping. You can get salt super, super cheap, but salt is one of the minerals your body has to have. So it is super important to put in your pantry. So I have red kidney beans, which is like the chili bean in our family. I need to start stocking up on some more of these. This is animal cracker containers. My son really, really loves animal crackers, and I don't like to throw away a good container. So I've got red chili beans, green lentils. Lentils will take on the beef role in our meatless chili. Lentils do really good. You can mix it in with ground beef if you have ground beef, and you can use half of your normal ground beef and then some lentils, and they kind of take the place of the beef. It really is good to help you stretch your beef if you're in a hard time. And black beans. Of course, another recycled container here with my Folgers container, but this is my black beans. I love the big Folgers container because they have a handle on them, so it makes it much easier to hold. And we drink a lot of coffee. That's our ingredients. We've got our spices, tomatoes, black beans, green lentils, kidney beans. That's it. So let's make this chili. So first we're going to add 1 cup of our red kidney beans, 1 cup of our green lentils, and 1 cup of our black beans. I'm going to give these just a quick rinse and make sure there's no rocks or dirt or anything in there. I'll be right back. So our beans are all rinsed off. Next, we're going to start scooping in our seasonings. Remember, this recipe will be over on my blog, and I will link that website down below. Okay, so we're going to do 3 tablespoons of our beef bouillon. If you have the cubes, then just do 3 cubes. You can also just exchange all of the water in this recipe and this beef bouillon out for beef stock if you have that on hand. 2 tablespoons of our dehydrated onion. 1 tablespoon of our garlic powder. 1 tablespoon of our chili powder.
Chili powder?
Yep, of our chili powder. 1 teaspoon of our paprika.
Paprika? Paprika?
Paprika. 1 teaspoon of cumin.
Cumin? It's cumin. It's cumin?
That cumin. 1 teaspoon of pepper.
Teaspoon pepper? It's spicy.
Yeah, pepper's spicy.
Pepper spicy.
And then we're going to start with half a teaspoon of salt. Oop. And then you can adjust that later on if you need more. So 28 ounces of diced crushed tomatoes. Any brand. Homemade is even better, of course. This is just what I have on hand. And then about 4 cups of water, or if you measure like I do, just under 2 pints of water, mason jar wise. Okay friends, so that's all there is to it. I'm just going to give this a mix, and then this will cook on my bean function in my Instant Pot for 1 hour. If you are doing this on a wood stove, fire, crock pot, whatever you have handy, even on just a normal cook stove, you just want this to come up to a boil and then simmer until your beans are soft. And your red kidney beans are what's going to take the longest to be soft. Now, if you're doing this on a stovetop, be prepared. You may need to add a cup or 2 more of water as it cooks, because those beans are going to absorb a lot of water as they cook. Okay, so our beans are finished and I'm fixing to open them. I just like to put a towel up here to kind of direct where that steam comes out so it doesn't burn me. Okay, so look how thick that chili is. It is beautiful. It is thick. These beans are hot and soft. They smush easily. So all we have left is just to taste it and make sure our salt and pepper levels are correct. That is perfect. It is really good. The beans are cooked perfectly. You can see where I did 4 cups of liquid in my Instant Pot. If you're doing this on the stovetop, you will definitely need more, like 6 cups. But it just did perfect with these 4 cups of liquid. And there are the lentils right there that act as your ground beef. So it's all done. Okay friends, so that is every bit of making meatless chili for your family. Every ingredient that went into this can be stored long-term on your pantry shelves. So no matter what the situation is, if you need a meal that is nutritious, that will fill your family's belly, that will give them good protein, this will be your meal. It will be linked down below so you can go to my blog and get a recipe that you can actually print out, or just write it down, whatever makes it easiest for you. But keep it and put it up. We are going to start an entire journal of prepper pantry recipes that you can put up in your prepper pantry stash and always be able to feed your family no matter what the situation is. That is my goal for you, friends. So make sure you stay tuned and you are joining us back next Monday for another prepper pantry recipe video where I show you again how to cook out of your prepper pantry. So I'll see you then. Bye, friends.